Hello everybody, hope you're having a great day. Well, the day finally came. Yesterday was the day that my LifePo4 batteries came in. Got my lithium batteries for my solar system. This is Felicity Solar. Felicity Solar. The size on them, here it tells right here, 5 kilowatt hour. They're actually like 200 amp hour, 24 volt. But you'll see right there on that, Felicity Solar. So we'll get these unloaded, and they're pretty heavy. I mean, this is not something that's really lightweight. And as you see, they take up the majority of the pickup bed here. Well, I got one loaded down here in my little cart. Well, they're definitely heavy. All right, I'm gonna find a tool and get this thing opened up. The user guide. It's got a conformity certification on the back. We'll look into that more later. It also comes with a positive and negative power cable right there. End's already on it with heat shrink. So that's also included. Now let's remove the plastic here. So it is pretty much exactly 16 inches tall. Going from the outside where the battery power cables connect, it looks like it's about 22.5 inches. And the depth on it right here is 9.5 inches deep from the face to the back. I've seen this before, not this one, but I've seen this before because I actually looked at these batteries before I bought this, and I have video on that of where I visited and saw these batteries before I bought this. Got your power button right here. I guess it's going to be a battery indicator level because it's shaped like a battery with LEDs, I guess, showing how much power it has. Just a kind of rough guide, I'm sure, on the front. Here on the ends, it's got caps you remove for your positive and negative cables to go on right here. Very large, well protected. A good flanged nut on there. And I think I've seen in the hardware that you can actually get these screwed on. Yeah, you can actually lock these on. They're just pushed on now, but you can actually lock them. So that looks good. It's got lifting handles on both sides here where you can pick this up. So that's nice. Spin it on around, nothing on the back, really clean, nothing on the top, clean. Showing your communication and all right here on it. So that's what I see here so far. I also want to check what the power is when I receive it. So let's do that now. I've turned the power switch on right here. It shows 3 bars on the power level. And you also don't want those lights draining the battery once it does shut off and take them all the way down and damage the batteries. So this unit's not supposed to do that. And then the next thing is you want it to be able to auto recover. So if it went all the way down to its lowest level and it shuts itself out, but then say the next day solar returns and it needs to start charging them again, these batteries need to be able to auto recover and reboot and turn themselves back on to the system. And this battery is supposed to do that. And you see it's putting out 25.7 volts right now, uncrated. And as you see here in the book, for the 150 or the 200, I have the 200 24 volt system. Right there, the max charging voltage is 28.8, and the floating charge voltage being 28.8, max charging current 60 amps, and then the cut off voltage being 24 volts. All right, so the next thing is are you going to be using this off grid, or are you going to be using it grid tied? because it's going to need to know that, and then you're going to need to connect up a communication wire accordingly. If it's used strictly off grid, it comes with this little cord right here. So on that communication wire connected in this port right here, so you have a positive and negative wire right here, and this is your PV sensing wires coming from your solar panels. So it needs to know when the PV is recovered and putting out voltage again, and then it's going to trip through this communication port right here, and it's going to let the battery know, hey, I'm charging again now, and when you get up to enough power, turn me back on. That is for the recovery on it in case it was to go too low. All right, so if you have grid power, you're going to plug this in. When it senses power from the grid, hook this into the communication port, and then it's going to know to recover the battery with grid power when it returns and start charging it. So it's going to be extremely important for recovery purposes. Connect this one way or another with the grid tie or with the off grid. So the last cable it comes with right here is this parallel communication cable that you're going to hook from one battery to the next, connecting them in parallel. This particular 24 volt battery, you can connect up to 6 of these in parallel, and you can stack it up to 4 high, mounting one unit on top of the next unit. If it's a 48 volt battery pack, well, then you can still connect up to 6 of these in parallel, but you only want to go stacking them 2 high. So that'll give you a little information on that. And these power cables, these DC power cables, are made at a length that if you stack one unit on top of the other unit, they are just the length that you need for connecting these in parallel. So these LED battery indicators on the side right now showing it being at 75% charge, these can change color. Right now they're green, they can become red, they can be green or red and flash, and that gives different indicators for problems or the status of what it's doing. Read the book that comes with it and know what those different things mean. Right now, in the status it's in, they're solid green. That's normal. That means everything's functioning well. It's at 75%. That's good. And so right now this is in normal battery operation mode. So for a little bit more safety, I want to cover a few points right here that's in the manufacturer's manual, and they put it in red because it's very important. So let's cover those things in case you're looking at buying one of these and this could affect you. Okay, so this is a 24 volt, and you can connect this in parallel. Like right here in the book it says, can be connected in parallel. So parallel, that's good, up to 6 of these units. These batteries can be connected in parallel. Series connection is not allowed. So you do not want to put 2 of these in a series and try to turn it into a 48 volt. Buy a 48 volt battery. Do not try to make this into a 48 volt battery. Use it only at the 24 volt only. So that is extremely important. If you decide later, hey, I got a 24 volt system, I want to convert now to a 48 volt system, but these batteries you bought are 24 volt, do not try to connect these into a series and make them into 48 volt. The BMS is not set up for it. The battery will not function properly, so do not do that. I'm sure that they have put safety protocols in place for that. Now, then the very next thing that I want to cover, it says these batteries are not allowed to be connected to a PWM controller for charging. My inverters here are MPPT. Some of these inverters that look just like this and other brands are PWM. Be sure to do not buy these batteries to put on a PWM controller. They were once again not designed for that. So you need to make sure that you're running a MPPT system connected to these for charging, for your charge controller. I will tell you, it comes with all the hardware to stack these and to lock them together. So when you set another unit on top of this, it actually has some brackets that you would connect that would keep these units from falling over off the top of each other or anything like that. And then the very top unit actually has a bracket that bolts onto the top right here. I'll show you. It comes with these brackets as well that you would put right there and anchor onto the wall, and that would keep this stack from falling over. So be sure and follow all the instructions on mounting them according to how you're going to mount them. These batteries need to be indoors, not outdoors. They need to be grounded to an earth ground. That's also very important for grounding. It has a port here on the other end for grounding it to an earth ground. You don't want them to get into a really hot location. All of this is covered in the manual. You want to keep the temperature at a safe operating temperature. Read the manual and follow its instructions on the temperature range that it's safe to operate this in. Moisture, you want to keep it out of a strong humidity, so you want to stay below 80% humidity. That's another thing that's very important. And personally, myself, I recommend you keep it way below even 80% humidity. Of course, electronics and humidity do not go well together. Follow the instructions. That's going to be very, very important. So you're going to have to go into the settings of your MPPT charge controller, and in my case, it's charge controller and inverter hybrid. And you're going to have to change some settings if you've been running lead acid batteries. You need to go with the manufacturer's recommended settings. The recommended settings on this particular unit is the max charge voltage is 28.8. The max float voltage is 28.8. The max charging amps in is 60 amps. And the maximum for cutoff on discharge is 24 volts. You need to go in and set that. In this particular MPP solar unit, I'm going to have to go in and change it to user defined. And then I'm going to have to put in these parameters. And you want to make sure that battery equalization is turned off. That is for lead acid batteries only, and that's going to run the voltage up very high on a lead acid battery where it's trying to maintain and take care of the composition of the battery inside. It's like a maintenance top, and the lead acid needs that, but the lithium, that would damage the battery. So you need to make sure you turn those features to the proper settings before you ever connect it to this lithium batteries. So right here, I want to also show you that it is suggested to connect at least 2 sets of 24 volt for an inverter larger than 4 kVA/5 kVA model, and at least 2 sets for 48 volt inverter larger than 7.5 kVA in parallel connection. But I enjoy working with solar. I enjoy tinkering with this like a hobbyist at the same time, and I enjoy sharing these products to you guys. So I appreciate the support on that, and in my solar projects that I do, and there's going to be plenty more coming. So I hope that this will help you out. If you're interested in these Felicity solar batteries, I ask you to do this first. Before you run out and buy their battery, let me have some time here first to review this battery. Let me put these 4 batteries together in parallel. Let me get them hooked up to these inverters, and let's give it about a month or so and see how they work out. Let me see if any issues arise or what problems may arise, so that I can save you money and hardship, and let me take the hit on that. That's why the company let me have these batteries at a discounted price, so I can review them, so I can find what I feel is a positive and negative, and they can use that feedback as well, and they told me they would. I've had a good relation with MPP Solar on feedback, as well as other vendors. So this is why I made the investment also, and it can help you. So please, before you jump in and you buy their battery, let me do this review, and let's see how these batteries work out. And we'll follow along during this next month And at that point, if I feel that they're a really good battery, I'm going to share the proper links to you, or where to properly buy these batteries from them, that you're not going through a bunch of middlemen and high marked up prices and all. And this company has, at least coming like into the Philippines and some other countries, they already have shipping routes set up, very just straightforward, working with the customs, getting them in and all, to make it seamless for you to get it to your doorstep. So I hope that helps you out. Stay tuned with these videos, and I appreciate you watching me cover Felicity Solar's 200 amp hour battery here, 24 volt today. Thank you, and take care.